is Cody Anderson, and I'm joined by Jordan Vogel, and we are both part of Good Rep Media. If you've not heard of Good Rep Media, we are a small business marketing agency. We help small businesses rank better on Google. It's something we've been doing for quite a while now, and we've been having some pretty cool success. And this is our first inaugural episode, which snaps. Props to us. I'm glad that we finally got here. If you're listening to this on Spotify, good. It's the first time we've ever done this before, and we actually figured it out. We were running into some issues.
I feel like you, for the first minute there, had your Spotify voice on. You're doing your little ASMR voice for a minute.
100%. We're trying to target the new audience.
Welcome to Spotify.
Welcome to Spotify. Really excited to be bringing you this brand new episode, fresh from lunch with the boys. Now, with that said, all the intros, all the jokes out of the way, what are you in for? We're a marketing podcast. We help small businesses rank better on Google. We help small businesses with their online reputation. And we make all of our goals helping you run your small business, helping you advise your friends on what they should be doing with their small business, because we all like talking shit to our friends. And realistically, if you want to start your own small business, getting some groundwork before you start filing for your EIN and opening your bank accounts and all that is probably a good idea. Now, we won't be diving into all of that legal stuff because we're not legal people, but we're going to dive into marketing because we are marketing people, which, hell, I'd refer myself as a marketing person. Jordan, would you call yourself a marketer? What would you say your title is?
Cody, I have a bachelor's degree in marketing. If I don't call myself a marketer,
the thing is, do you consider it marketing what we do though? Because we're not.
Yeah, we're literally a reputation management company.
Okay, fair. But when I think of marketing, I think people always think of, oh, am I in that magazine? Am I buying ads? People aren't thinking of how they're actually presenting their brands. And one of the ways that people present their brands, and the very first thing that we're going to be covering on our intro to the podcast here, is your Google business profile. So if you are starting a small business, if you already own a small business, one of the things that you should have, and if you don't, is a Google business profile. And Jordan, why don't you give a little baseline of what your Google business profile is?
Yeah. So your Google business profile is essentially an account that is telling Google what your business is. It's giving it all the information, and it's going to make it so that when you search for it, it's going to give more than just a search result of here's your website. It is then that's when you see it over on the side there, and it's like, oh, here's a photo of the business. Here's their name, phone number, email. It's like an entire profile for your business that can pop up whenever someone searches for you.
And realistically, it's how Google finds and defines your business. So if someone is Googling your business, they're going to look for generally your Google business profile. Your Google Maps listing is your Google business profile. When someone searches for your restaurant and they're like, oh, I'm going to call this place, I'm going to order a takeout, those buttons that they're clicking, it's on your Google business profile. So if you want people to be finding you organically when people search for your service near me, your Google business profile is the very first thing that you want to be optimizing. And it's one of those things that if you have a business right now and you aren't aware of Google business profiles, go do this while you listen. Actively while you're here, make a note, go check out your Google business profile. Go Google it. If you Google it from your Gmail, it'll come up. Go Google your business, and you're going to be able to find your Google business profile. Because if you can't, you'll know that you're missing out on customers.
I'd turn the ring light off, dude. I am sweating.
Oh my goodness. We're experiencing some actually nice weather in Michigan. So if you're in anywhere that gets sun and sunlight, enjoy it. We don't for half of the year, and it's just starting to come back. I turned my light off flat out. I have no lights on. I am just in the sun so that I can experience actual joy.
I don't love this. I don't love the darkness on my face for the live right now, but it's better than the redness. Hopefully it'll subside.
Oh, the actual straight tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I feel like I get that every once in a while just based on how I'm sitting, or if I talk too much. I'll get red in the face from even stringing too many words together.
It's pure heat right now is the problem. that is what's doing it to me right now.
Fair. But with that said, so Go check out your Google Business Profile. Your Google Business Profile has all of the basics of your business, basically. So what you want to verify first are your name, your address, and your phone number. These are what people in the industry refer to as your NAP, your NAP. So you want to make sure that that is the same on your Google Business Profile as it is on your signs, as it is on your website, and as it is on every other directory or listing website out there. This is how Google kind of simulates your brand authority. So if you, I mean, logically, Jordan, if you're going to go Google a business and you're like, this is John's Crab Shack, and then you go to the Google business profile and it's John Crab's Shack, and then you go to their website and it's John Jack's Crab Shack of funtimes.org, you're going to wonder if those are all the same business or if they're
Right.
just kind of all tangentially related. And Google is going to be slightly confused as well.
Even if it's something where like you'll look at it and be like, it makes sense. Nobody, like no human would get confused by that. Google will.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
like Google isn't a human. Google doesn't actually have common sense. You know, it has an
Mhm.
algorithm. And so like yeah, like the human brain may be able to look at Jack Crab Shack and Jack's Crab Shack and recognize that those are the same thing, but Google may not. And that's why it's so important to make sure everywhere that your business name is listed, it is exactly the same.
I think the biggest one that I noticed is on like social media because I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of these businesses, especially if you're a smaller or local business, they start with like a Facebook page. A lot of these small businesses, and I always bring this back to small businesses that we work with. So, like lawn care companies, we work with a lot of service based, area based businesses, massage therapists, estheticians, musicians, things like that. A lot of people, they start with a Facebook page and it has a very specific name, and then they grow or they change and they don't really update their branding, but then they start an Instagram page. And so I think of our massage therapist client, one of them, their name on their Facebook page is uh Be Balanced, and that's not their name anymore. Like that's the baseline, but there's a lot more to it than just that. And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of not crazy, but it's really something to pay attention to.
Yes. I absolutely agree. And I think an important thing people maybe don't think about this. Like you may go through and like update it on like citation sites, listing sites, and stuff like that. But also, if you're someone who has like a lot of backlinks running to your site,
Mhm.
depending on where those backlinks are coming from, if they have that type of information on that, make sure you're reaching out to whoever's backlinking to you and getting that information updated there as well.
Yeah, you definitely want to be on top of what's going on with your site, your backlink, the people looking at you. But if you're looking specifically at Google Business Profile, you got to recognize that the more you can engage with it, the more that you can fill out, the more information you can provide on that Google Business Profile, the better.
Yes.
Similarly, a lot of people will put their tinfoil hats on and they'll be like, okay, so that's a Google Business Profile. I'm doing all of this stuff for Google so that they can better find all of my information. Well, tangentially, it works on every other search
Yeah.
engine, at least a little bit. But also, Google's the biggest search engine. And when you fill out and do everything that Google asks, they're more likely to promote your stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I have heard horror stories. If you haven't, go listen to our last week's interview with Tim, where we talked about one of the Google horror stories that he had. Maybe don't engage with everything that Google offers, but if there's something that you can fill out on your profile, services, times that you're open, um, I mean, heck, hours, holidays, fill out all of that information. Just fill in every box that you possibly can and maintain activity. Those are going to be the very first, like, big ones on your profile that are going to help you out immediately over time.
Yes. Absolutely. And definitely when you're putting in like your address and everything, make sure it's being found on the Google map. I
Yep.
think that that's another big one as well. Don't just like if you put in the address like shorthand or anything like that, that's making it so that Google can't exactly pinpoint that location. That is really going to hurt you as well because Google being able to spot you on the map is what's going to help you show up when people are doing those near me searches.
Now, if you are looking at getting into your Google business profile for the first time, if you've not claimed your profile, if you've not created a profile, there can be a lot of difficulties in going about and getting one set up initially. I think this is one of our biggest headaches that we went through multiple times, is figuring out how to basically get approved on Google business profiles. Because
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, we've gray hatted Google business profiles before, using suite numbers. People have tried to use, PO boxes and virtual addresses, and Google's kind of wisened up to all of these, because the whole purpose of a Google business profile is for local businesses. You want to be able to find local businesses, and there are some nationwide resources. There will be some like national Google business profiles, but those are a little bit different, and they're operated under a little bit of a different
Yeah,
rule set.
something I've kind of learned, like a lot of those big chain, like nationwide businesses have individual Google Business profiles set up whenever they are expanding. I
Mhm.
had a Wingstop open up across the street from me, and I went to search it, and like, yeah, it came up with like a specific like Plainfield Wingstop, and then like went through and like had details specific to it, like not open yet, opening on this date and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I would have thought that Wingstop kind of operated under like a general Google business profile, but no, they do still break it up into each and every location.
Yeah, well, and though you can break them up into multiple locations so that they each have unique authority. And there's a lot that gets into, if you're opening multiple locations, you probably should know how Google business profiles work. And if you have multiple locations and you don't, snaps, because you're pretty lucky and you're missing out on a lot of traffic. Please reach out. We can help you get all that extra traffic. But what they actually do is you open that secondary location, and I've been researching this for our lawn care company, as they want to open a second location. It has no authority, it has no bearing on the other one, but you can basically own them in the same account. But it's
Mm.
almost like a completely separate Google business profile.
Like you
You have
almost
to
have like a
verify it separately.
list of accounts, kind of, in or not accounts, like a list of properties under one account.
Yeah, something like that. Now, we
Yeah.
haven't done it, but that's something that we're going to be diving into, and I'm actually kind of excited to see how it works out. But for the actual approval process, if you see that your business has a Google business profile and you haven't claimed it, and you go through the actual claiming process, you can. And if you get lucky, I've actually followed along on a couple of different Google business profile claiming processes, because if you haven't before, it used to be that in order to claim a profile or to create a profile, you had to have them send you a postcard, verify that you have someone at that address. You can receive mail from the United States Postal Service, and then that's good enough. Well, that's not good enough anymore. Nowadays, they want you, and I'm not even kidding, they want a video of you walking into your business, unlocking the door with signage of your name on the business to help verify that you're a business, this is where you're operating, and it's legitimate. So there's a vetting process to getting a Google business profile. And so therefore there's an amount of prestige that comes from having one.
Yeah.
If you're a small business, that can be a little bit of a hurdle to go through, of getting a video and getting all of that set up.
Absolutely. But like one of the cool things about it, it's easy to hear all that and be like, "Oh, they made it more annoying." But the thing is that actually, I'm sure in their algorithm has basically upped the authority that you get from doing that. Where like it's like, yeah, you have to go through more hoops in order to get your account, but now your profile is going to mean that much more because you did it.
Well, exactly. It's like the getting the blue check marks on whatever apps you're happening to get check marks at this point. I think all of them at this point have them, but getting that blue check mark gives you a certain amount of prestige and authority, being able to actually
I,
get approved for new Google business
I want to
profiles.
say, at least on X, it's the opposite. It's vice versa to how it used to be. Where it used to be that that check mark was something prestigious. You earned it. You did the things you had to do, and you earned it. Now I'm pretty sure you pay like $12 a month, and you can get one.
Really?
Yeah,
That's so
that,
crazy to
that
me.
was that was one of like when they had the Twitter X regime changes. That was like the first thing they implemented, with
Weird. Being
like
able to buy blue check
subscription check
marks.
marks.
Yeah. I mean, more power to them, I guess. But with
It's
that
like,
said, when
but it's like getting that badge on your favorite Facebook thread.
yeah, which I mean, eh, I don't know. It's like getting the Google review badges and stuff like that. The more of those you get, the better. Which, I mean, hell, if we're talking about Google business profiles, I do want to get into reviews, and we're going to be touching on that in just a second. But
Yeah,
the final thing that I want to touch on, when you're actually going through and creating and claiming your profile, do everything that you can do, fill in all of the information, and then keep a little bit consistent on it.
yeah,
Make weekly posts, Treat it like a social media
that was
profile, not
exactly what I was about to say.
sorry, I'm hitting your points before you get to them.
Yeah.
But you got to do something consistent because at the end of the day, um, Google's an algorithm, and if you're not active and you just sit there, Google's going to see that you've made no motion. No one is visiting your site. No one is doing anything, and that's going to make you drop. Now, if you have visitors to the site and you have activity and you're making new posts, boom, that looks really good. Logically, I think we can all agree that that makes sense. Of course, that would get more traffic.
Yes. I do also want to say, now this is going to be one layer deeper, probably a little bit further than what we actually need to be touching on in this episode of the Google Business Profile. But like linking it up to like your analytics and everything like that, having your sitemap in there is going to be big for Google crawlers to be able to crawl your site. Having proper schema is going to help you show up. Now that's not all tied to your profile. Those are just like those little things that are going to make it look so much better when it comes up on the left with your search results and on the right with your profile. You know, if you have a nice organized, oh, here's my shop link, here's my blog link, here's my about us link, and then on the right, here's all the details you need to know about my business. That's just going to look good. You're going to look way more professional than like the next guy who didn't do any of that.
Yeah, that's for specifically website optimizations, which I'm actually super excited. Little preview here, honestly, because we're going to be getting into websites a lot more deeply next week. And I'm kind of stoked because you know so much more about that than I actually do. And I want to figure out more about how the schema and all of that setup actually works.
Yeah.
We're working on some more lawn care sites
It's
right
funny,
now.
we did an episode kind of on it a while back, and I feel like looking back on it, I was like, I didn't know half of what I know now about it. And that's why it's so exciting to come back through and do these videos again.
Yeah. Well, and it's even necessarily understanding we're all growing as human beings. We're all learning new skills over time, and we're all willing to grow. And that's one of the things, if you're following along, if you're listening to us at home, if this is something that you're interested in, you know, learning and growing and advancing through life, follow us because that's all we want to do. At the end of the day, we're figuring out how to get things on Spotify. We're figuring out how to get businesses ranking. And the whole reason we wanted to make this podcast, make this episode go live, create some type of content is because we're having success, dude. Like we actually do pretty good at this stuff. And we're doing a lot more of walking the walk than I feel a lot of content creators out there are. A lot of people are talking about, oh, we do so much. We're doing $100 million in revenue and we've got all this venture capital money and we're using our own proprietary blah, 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 blah. Well, that doesn't help if you are a 4-man lawn care company working out of your hometown.
Yeah.
That doesn't help you. You don't have 10 grand to spend a month on marketing. Will you get there? Yes. And will we help you get there? Yeah, for a price that you can actually afford because we work with businesses that we actually want to help.
I feel like so many channels out there aren't like, how can you improve what you have? It's more, how can you take what you have and copy what we're doing with it? You know, and that's where we try to be a little different here. We're trying to be like, no, take what you have and still keep it your own, but here's how you improve that.
Yeah, here's the actionable steps to do something positive for your business right now. And if you want help, if you want specific assistance, we can help you out. Go check out our website, goodrep.media. It's going to be our only call out. Go check us out.
You're going to do one at the end. Don't you lie. You're going to do one at the end.
Well, I'm going to call out the website, but it is that simple. We will help you with all that. And honestly, it's not that complicated. The actionable steps for you is go out, check out your Google business profile, fill out all of your information, make sure it matches your social media, make sure it matches what's painted on the side of your truck or painted on the side of your car, make sure it matches any of the ads that you might have running or what you're sending out, and get out there and update. Your Google business profile is the main way that Google understands your business. It's one of the main ways that people will interact with you. If people are looking on maps, if people are looking for a service-based business, they're going to be looking for that Google business profile first.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to discount other profiles. Apple Maps has its own profile. Bing has its own profile. There's a bunch of other profiles.
You should be setting up on all of them, truth be told.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like one is going to take from the other. Do them all.
Yeah, and
if anything, I'd be willing to bet Like if you do like the biggest, like your Apple and your Google, I'm willing to bet those lower ones take from the bigger ones. You know, like I bet Bing looks at Google a little bit. They might act like they don't, but I'd be willing to bet they look at Google a little bit.
Well, and it's like cohesively. How do I phrase it? I'm trying not to use high lingo, which is from Red Rising. If you've ever read Red Rising, snaps to you. But I'm trying not to use a bunch of search engine optimizers say that we're going to do DBO, direct brand optimization, which is there's a whole funnel of search and optimization and trying to figure out exactly what works and what doesn't work. And I feel like if you're a small business owner and you're looking at this AI landscape and all of this changing business, running ads is not the same. You're not getting as much traffic from your Facebook posts as you were before. What's going on? Recognizing you need consistent brand representation. You need your name, address, phone to be the same everywhere because that's what AI is going to recognize. We mentioned schema. We're going to dive into schema a lot more next week, but schema is what AI looks at. When you have good schema and Google and AI knows what your site is doing and can read it all, that's the most helpful thing you can possibly do for your brand, at least online.
Yeah.
At the same time, man, it feels kind of disheartening to like fully optimize for websites and like AI and tech all the time. Is there a space for like optimizing for human interaction too?
I feel like that mostly comes from the social media pages.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're trying, like I guess maybe if I'm understanding what you're saying,
Oh,
like
let me phrase it. So we optimize the homepage, and I'm like, I want to include a frequently asked question specifically. Here's one specific thing on your website that you need. If you don't have an FAQ, a frequently asked question section, include it. Schema markup for it. Really helpful. Really good for
mhm.
AI. Now, FAQs are also good for humans, but we went into it with an idea of using it and creating the schema to make it useful for AI and using the keyword rich optimizations. Now, how much of that is optimizing for AI and search engines
I see what you're
compared
saying.
to how much should you be optimizing for human experience?
I think I like to think, and I may be wrong here, but Google tries to build its algorithm centered around how you are making the experience for humans. Like,
Mhm.
yes, obviously it is a robot reading it in a way a robot will, but I believe that like readability is a big thing when it comes to like your SEO on your website and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So like how well you can read through it, and I don't know, maybe a robot can't read like a human can, like, you know, or vice versa. Like it's going to be different, but they definitely take that into consideration. Like your images having like alt text on them so that like when you like scroll over it, even if you can't like if like you have bad eyes, you can still figure out what the image is. You know, things like that. Like
accessibility
little
options.
yeah, accessibility exactly. Um things like having your map on your site, Google loves that, you know.
Mhm.
They definitely do push for you to build your site in a way that is going to be easy for a human to understand.
Yeah, I feel like in general, Google focuses on that. And I've been reading a lot and hearing a lot of talk about how AI, the way AI interacts with your site is very human esque. And so if you're creating a very good human experience, it's going to matter more and more. I think we, in like going back to like 2005 to 2015, heavily focused on optimizing for the search engines because the
Hmm.
search engines were not good at being humans. The search engines were a game that we could play against. And so
Yes.
is how do I game the search engines to make my stuff appear first? Well, now the search engines have advanced to such a point where it's like, okay, I just need my brand and my everything to look good online because then when someone goes to Perplexity and is like, "Hey, I want to find an esthetician near me. I need a lawn mowing company." It's going to pull your company because for example, I always say lawn care company because it's one of ours
Yeah,
internally.
because
We run
something
it.
we're
It's
familiar
awesome.
with.
Yeah. And so like for example, our lawn care company shows up in Google. It shows up in Google and it shows up in AI because when you Google those services, we're active. We're on social media. We're updating those pages. We're posting, you know, on socials, we're posting new articles to the website, we're constantly updating, and we're doing a job. I mean, we have clients that are happy.
Yeah.
And one of those things that is really useful for us is our review system of requesting reviews. And so, if that's something that you don't have already, if you own a small business and you don't have a way of asking for reviews, if you don't have a sign every single time someone checks out with a QR code that says, hey, review us on Google. If you've ever gone, Jordan, do you do like the Valvoline instant oil changes?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen all around the shop? They have those posters of review us on Google, give us 5 stars on Google, and it's a QR code.
I never noticed that. I can't believe
Yeah,
I've never noticed that. But
look the next time you go. I'm curious if it's like a top-down thing from Valvoline, but if Valvoline Instant Oil Change is one of those places, put a QR code, review us on Google, and it just brings you directly to a Google review.
I mean,
Every single time you check out, they email you your receipt. There's a review us on Google QR code too.
every large business knows the importance of reviews.
Oh, it's
Um,
huge.
my partner works for a jewelry store. I'm not gonna sit here and like dox out things or anything. She worked for a jewelry store, and she literally like reached out to me and was like, "Hey, can you have like you and your friends leave some reviews?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I got you for sure." Like, I went and had like 4 people go leave reviews, and like they're like, "Yeah, it's a push from corporate to try and get as many reviews as possible." It's like, yeah, those people know how important those reviews are going to be. Cody, before we dive too into segment
Yeah.
3 here that we got in our notes, which I could tell we were leaning into there, I want to throw to our question that we got in the chat really quick.
Yeah.
What do you think is one of the most common mistakes businesses make with their profile? What should they do to avoid it? I think people don't do enough. I think the biggest mistake is not doing enough. Like, not having enough photos, maybe not having their hours. Like, most people will go on and be like, here's our email, here's our location, here's our phone number, and then like the rest of it will just be kind of blank. The best ones have like information on their website. Restaurants have their menus as a clickable
Mhm.
link right there. They have their hours, they have the address, phone, everything that we've said, all the NAP. And then they may like there's sections for reviews. You can make posts on it. We talked about it earlier. It's kind of like a social media. You can sit there and make a post. You can give updates about your company there on Google itself. And like, honestly, in my opinion, what better place to make it? Than the
Yeah.
place that is literally like hosting you a bit, basically, for everybody to find you.
Yeah.
Um,
And I on the very similar end of the spectrum, I want to say one of the biggest mistakes I see is they're not updating enough or they're not claiming. Like they'll go in and claim and update with information, and over time your business changes, and it'll prompt with, okay, hey, are you working on Easter? And you don't fill out that information, you ignore that email. You'll get an email from Google Business Profile asking you if you're open on these days. Hey, we're testing out this new feature. You'll get a new review. If you're not responding to reviews, if you're not making at least one weekly post, if you don't have images of your business and your jobs and the things you do uploaded, you're missing out. There's online customers that are looking for your business that you aren't getting. They exist. They're Googling your service, the thing that you want to do, and you aren't there. Just remember that. More than anything else, recognize you're not showing up when people are Googling the things that they
yeah,
want to.
it's
If
like
you're
it's
not
like
listing those things out.
yeah, it's like, hey, like if a customer can't come to your door, they can't do business with you. If they can't find you online, they won't be able to find you like naturally. There's
Yeah.
it's just crazy to think how people think like good is good enough, when it's like you can do better so easily.
Yeah. Well, and it's I want to be clear. We've listed out so many different things that you can do. Realistically, it's making up the habit for 30 minutes a week to go to your Google Business Profile. It's going to be attached to the Gmail that you're already in every single day. Go make a post, upload an image, and then double check all of your information. If you get a review, it's going to send you an email. Go respond to the review. Every single review, unless it's fake. If you get a bunch of fake bad reviews, don't respond to them. Come to us and we'll help you out. That is a very specific issue of people review bombing. It's something we just experienced with our lawn care company, which is always super fun. Got all of them removed and taken care of because they were fake. But that requires a little bit more of a careful hand, I think. I do want to get into this last category real quick. We're going to hit it in under a minute. Photos, categories, reviews matter. I don't think this is new to anyone. We've mentioned it a few times. Upload photos, reviews. Make sure you ask for reviews. Set up a system of getting reviews. And if that's something you need a little bit more help with, join us for week 3. Not next week on Tuesday, week after on Tuesday. We're going to talk about reviews and the different systems that you need to set up, SMS, email, in order to make those reviews happen.
I have 2
Because
things
they're
I want to say
probably
on
one of the most
photos.
important things. What's that?
Sorry, I said I have 2 things I want to say on photos. The first being, if you have the means to do it, get some professional photos of your business done.
Boom. Yeah.
Actually, get some professional photos. Don't just go out there with your phone and snap a couple. Do it in the summer. Don't do it when it's all snowy and gross out. Try
unless
and
you're
make
a
sure you
snowplow
have.
company.
What's that?
Unless you're a snowplow company.
Unless you're a snowplow company. But even then, try to make sure all the snow is plowed out of the way.
Just a really bad plow job pictures.
And then the second I want to be is kind of understand the rules of Google and their images. This more pertains to like massage clients. Like we've run into issues where like we have tried to like post like images of like a massage happening that were completely what's the word I'm looking for? Above board. They were perfectly fine. There was nothing obscene about them or anything, but they showed a little bit of skin kind of on like the upper back and stuff like that. Google, I still don't know if we've ever gotten those photos up.
The thing is, it'll pick some, it'll not pick some, but it's recognizing like, hey, you're going to be playing a game. You're going to play a game with Google at the end of the day. Recognize that Google is just one of the goalies between you and landing a customer.
Mm-hmm.
The better you can play around that goalie, the better you can learn their ticks and what you need to do. Give them a lead shot.
I almost hesitate calling it a goalie though, because ultimately it can also help you. Like Google can help you. It can also hurt you. It's all about playing by its rules. It's not the goalie.
You're right. I shouldn't.
It's not the goalie, it's the ref. All right. And sometimes a ref is a little more sided to help out a team. Yeah.
So you can 100% work with the ref. The goal. I like that. I shouldn't describe
can pay
Google.
The goalie a little bit of money and maybe he'll let you score.
I was gonna say I have a much more harried relationship with Google. Google has definitely been my goalkeeper a number of times, both letting goals in that it shouldn't and protecting goals that I've been trying to kick in.
That's fair. That's fair.
But with all that said, realistically, welcome. This is Lunch with the Boys. My name's Cody. I'm here with Jordan, and we're going to be here every single week for about 30 minutes talking about marketing for small businesses. If you want a small business, if you want to start a small business, if you know someone who owns a small business and want to sound smart, quote some of the things we say, try some of the things we do out, and see how they work for you. If that's something that seems like a lot, and you don't think that you can actually get in there and make all those changes yourself, reach out. We can do it for you. We offer Google Business Profile services. We offer website building services. We do everything. But the number one service we offer is free consultations, which if you go to our website, goodrep.media, go schedule. Go fill out your information. I'll reach out to you personally and we'll schedule that out.
Yeah, we'll give you a little audit. We'll look at everything you have. We'll give you suggestions. We didn't give all the secret sauce here. We may be able to help you out a little bit here on a private call.
Yeah, I will say there's a lot of secret sauce that goes into this, but realistically, at the end of the day, keep the mindset in lock. Your mindset should be fill out everything Google has. If Google gives you an option to fill in more information about your business, fill it out. Be consistent with your updates and interactions. If you own and have collected your Google business profile and you've uploaded and you've started using it, a post a week. 30 minutes. Don't spend more than that. You don't need to do a ton. Get an image upload, get a description on there, make sure that it's all updated and double check your information. And finally, 3, set up a system. Get in there. Your categories, your photos, your reviews, you need more of all of them. I had a business reach out to me, oddly enough, and this is going to be the last story here. It was a car dealership. You want to know what their most recent review was? It was 6 months ago. The one before that, 3 years. You want to know why I was anxious and hey, what's going on here? They had a 3.2 star rating or something like that because 6 to 10 years ago they had a bunch of 1 and 2 star ratings. Hey, have you rehabilitated your image? Have you changed things? You obviously have not paid any attention to this up until now.
Yeah.
it's something you should be doing.
A lot of people, I mean, so there's a lot of business owners who've existed before Google was really around, or
Yeah.
maybe it was around, but like, like there are people who've been owning businesses for like 30 plus years, and like
Google
at
is
that
not the
point,
oldest business, Jordan.
no, it's not. It's crazy to think,
Sacrilegious.
and like those, like if you're someone who's owned a business for that long, you maybe don't think about those things. So let us think about them for you.
Yeah. So with that, I want to leave you off on one thing. Go audit your Google business profile. Go check it out. If you have a friend who owns a business, go Google their business and see if it shows up. And when it doesn't, roast them. Roast the crap
Hey,
out of them.
you have a friend is not taking care of their Google business profile. You schedule an appointment. We'll audit it with you, and then you can go to them and sound smart to your friend.
Oh my gosh. Actually, do you want to sound smart to your friend? We'll audit their website with you so that you can bring the audit to them, and then you can point to us and be like, hey, these guys actually helped me out.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, hell, maybe we'll offer a commission or something like that. We'll give you,
I'll
take
give
you
you
out to
10
Applebee's.
bucks.
We got Amazon gift cards. But realistically, thanks so much for joining us on this first episode. We're testing out Spotify. We'll see how this goes.
Spotify. I got 5 minutes into this and I forgot we're on Spotify. Welcome to Spotify.
Thank you so much if you're listening to this on Spotify. We do really appreciate it if you're listening to us on YouTube too. YouTube's our home. We're always going to be on YouTube. If you're on Spotify and you haven't checked us out on YouTube, go check it out. But hey, thanks so much for joining me on this episode, Jordan. Again, this has been
Thank you, Cody.
Boys. What was that?
Thank you, Cody.
Oh, of course. But we'll see you guys next week where we're going to be diving into your small business website, how-tos actually maintain a good website and help you with your online presence. So look forward to that.
Have a good one, Spotify.
Bye, guys.